his ledge.
Grappling. Enemy down. Incoming care package. I love loot.
Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.
Hello everyone, so today we're going to talk about Pathfinder and specifically how we can utilize his abilities. Many of you use Pathfinder on a daily basis, which is completely normal. He's one of the best legends in the game. But let's talk about how we can take his skills to the next level and how we can utilize his ultimate as well as his grappling hook at its maximum potential. Alright, since now we're in the far range, I'm gonna show you a few things that you should be always keeping in mind when playing Pathfinder. So the first thing we're going to talk about is his tactical ability, and specifically we're gonna focus more on how we can use that ability to utilize the maximum potential of the ability. So what's cool about the grappling hook is if you look at the center of the screen, you'll see that I have a blue dot, and if I move a little bit backward, it becomes yellow. This is the grappling hook of Pathfinder. So if we move a little bit forward, this means that now I'm in range to use my tactical ability. And the range that you can use that tactical ability is 21 meters.
Might be something good this way.
So you should always try to keep that in mind, just to visualize it in your head that when you're close to something, you know that you can grapple or things like that. Another cool thing about this is that, like in Mortal Kombat, you can grapple people like Scorpion. So let's say you want to fight an enemy, you can grapple it, and then you can kick him or potentially kill him if he's low. So now let's take a look at how we can use his grappling hook much better. So if we aim down, and the moment the grappling hook hits the ground and we press space, we'll be able to swing ourselves above the target.
Here I go.
And all I did was continued my slide while crouching. Doing this in a live game, especially for someone who's beginning, it can be difficult. So I would recommend moving forward, sliding, and then grappling and jumping. This way you can close the gap between you and the enemy quite fast. But this is in a scenario where you're chasing an enemy in an open field or place where you don't have any other terrain to work with. Let's take a look at other situations where, let's say, our enemy is moving that direction. The simplest way we can do this is select an object we want to grapple, aim at it, and the moment the grappling hook hits that object, we want to move right or left, depending on which side you want to swing towards, and look at the direction we want to go, and also press jump. This way we can really fast close the gap between us and the enemy, or escape a situation where we would die otherwise. There are a few other scenarios where we can utilize the movement in this game, or specifically advanced movement techniques that can allow us to escape stick situations or to attack someone. But since Pathfinder has the grappling hook, we can also add that to the mix, and we can make some pretty interesting moves that will be really difficult for most of the enemies to hit in the game. So let's take a look at a regular wall jump and how it looks. So this is a regular wall jump. You can do it to almost any legend except currently Revenant, which has a little bit of different slowing speed when he hits the wall. So let's take a look at how we can utilize this with Pathfinder even more. Next thing you want to talk about is how we can grapple to objects and what we should be always careful about. So let's say we want to climb a really high object so we have the upper hand in a gunfight, or we want to stay somewhere where we will be safe while people are fighting underneath us. if we aim at this object and we try to grapple at the top of the object, what usually would happen is something like this.
Using grapple.
We'll overshoot our location where we want to go, and most probably we will fall down, and if people are fighting underneath us, we'll die. So in order to grapple at the proper place, we need to do something different. Alright, but instead of overshooting ourselves, let's see how we can actually grapple to that object. So instead of aiming at the top of the object, always aim a little bit down. This way, when he goes near the surface, he will grab to the edge of that surface and you'll be able to climb on top of it. So once you're in this animation, you can always look around, which is actually a cool animation, and from here you can just press W and get on top of the surface that you want. So now you can wait for enemies or wait for the proper time to engage, or in certain situations, if you're playing with snipers, you can just stay high ground and shoot at the enemies that you want to kill. Let's actually take a look at a little bit of gameplay that I've captured just to show you how you can utilize climbing vertically on those kind of objects, so you can get a better understanding how and where we can use this and in what situations this is really powerful. Another issue that other legends have is when you fall from a high terrain, what usually happens when you hit the ground is your movement speed gets quite slowed down. And sometimes this means that enemies can shoot you and you die quicker. So with Pathfinder, falling down is not that kind of a big problem, since you can use the grappling hook to cue that momentum and continue moving forward without taking that slow in general. So this is how a normal fall looks like. And this is how it looks like when you use the grappling hook to kill that momentum. Another way we can utilize the grappling hook is when we fall down and take the full slowing speed effect. Also, crouch at the same time and grapple at the object that you want to move forward, and then press jump. This way, we'll be able to swing around like in the beginning of the tutorial where I showed you how to move forward quickly. Another thing we can do to avoid damage is use the grappling hook to swing around objects while our enemies shoot at us, so this way they can spend their bullets, and once their magazine is empty we can ungrapple and finish them off. So I'll demonstrate how this actually can look on a flat surface.
Using grapple.
Also, we can do the same thing with objects even higher in the ground, or something that's a little bit raised from the base terrain.
Using grapple.
Alright, let's take a look at how we can utilize Pathfinder in a more aggressive early game style. Like, let's say for example you have only an arc star and you see an enemy looting. The moment you hit them with an arc star, their movement speed will be really decreased, and also this includes the mouse movement speed, so enemies will have much more harder time turning around. And also, if they have armor or more HP than you, the arc star first will destroy their armor completely, no matter do they have purple, golden or whatever armor. And secondly, the moment we stick them with the arc star, we won't wait like a half second or more before we grapple them, otherwise we'll take the same damage as them, since the explosion will hit us. So after that, all we're going to do is kick them. Let's take a look at how this looks.
Glowing arc star.
The same goes with if you get stick with an arc star. If the enemy is right in front of you and they stick with an arc star, if you're with a full team, the least thing you can do is, instead of trying to shoot them continuously, just grapple towards them. This way you know that if they're low, first the grenade can, the explosion from the arc star can kill them, or at least it will stun them and break their shields, so your team will finish them off quite easily. Alright, next let's talk about the grappling gun and how we can use that to get out of sticky situations and also not allow our enemies to chase us. So let's say you're near a building or an object that can be destroyed, for example doors that can be opened, or places where the train passes by. The thing what you can do is place a grappling hook on a surface that otherwise will be destroyed. For example, care packages that fall down on the ground, you can put the zipline in front of the care package before it lands, and things like that. But the reason I'm specifying doors is because this is one of the most common things that you're gonna find in the map. So let's say you're on a rooftop, you're getting chased by another Pathfinder or another enemy. All you need to do is, once you're on the rooftop, just look for another door that's closed on the other buildings and place your grappling gun on it.
Zipline deployed.
Once you escape, all you have to do is open the door and the grappling gun will be destroyed. So this way, first enemies will not know where you went, or if they know, they'll fall down and hopefully will lose track of you because you have much more bigger mobility than they do. So this way, especially mid to late game, covering your tracks with Pathfinder is pretty useful, but not always this may work or may not work, but sometimes this way you can really bait enemies. The next example we want to look at is, let's say you want to move on a zipline. Moving on a zipline by itself sometimes can be very dangerous because enemies can shoot you and you're moving from one single point towards another. And this way, enemies have a straight line of sight and all they need to do is follow your movement and compensate for movement and shoot you. So a lot of times other Pathfinders I've seen that die quite easily, especially to this or other enemies that use the zipline. So in some situations you can use the zipline as advantage to bait enemies to come to you, and this way shoot them. But many people in the game are utilizing a different way to approach this and stay alive while pushing other people. So first, this is how a normal person moves like inside of Apex Legends with a zipline. And this is how an aggressive player who has a lot of hours moves with a zipline inside of Apex Legends. And this by itself is good enough sometimes to enter a fight without taking a lot of damage. But especially in situations where you already have one zipline deployed, or you know that an enemy has deployed a zipline and they're expecting someone to push that zipline, you can go a little bit more aggressive than this. All you need to do is place your zipline next to the one of the opponent.
Zipline deployed.
And this way, while you have two ziplines, all you want to do is press space in E to grapple to the next one. So the movement will look something like this. And now let's take a look at third person perspective of how this actually looks like when you're moving on this zipline. So as you can see, you become much more harder target to hit, which is especially useful in situations where people have automatic guns or sniper rifles that do high amount of damage in a small amount of time. So the last thing I want to talk about before we move into some gameplay of Pathfinder is that you can actually grapple to ropes. This is something that was introduced after Season 1, because back in the day Pathfinder sadly couldn't grapple to those kind of surfaces, but now since we can do that, you can escape quite easily or get closer to enemies quite fast. All you need to do is aim at the rope and just grapple. Alright, thanks for watching guys. I hope this video was useful to you, and if you have questions or anything, don't forget to subscribe and comment down below and let me know which legend you want me to do next. So now let's jump into some gameplay so you can see how I've utilized Pathfinder to close distances or to get some kills with him.
Ейте, отидеха нататък и се обърна и ги видях.
Стартираме хора в файт. Ето ги.
Разли го в въздуха.
Бягай, бягай да вземем точките. Браво. Бягай, бягай. Бягай през левата.
Знам! Кой са?
Ама не съм спокоен. Ще си използваш ли зиплайна, де?
Се успокоиш ли?
Не. Браво, дай, дай.
Дай маняк, прескочи пропаста.
А те какво мислят за
Абе, спая с 24 не мога да дигна на толкова точки.
here we go. I'm in. Houston has landed. I repeat, Houston has landed. Let's see where the next zone is.
They're probably gonna be inside of the next zone.
Let's hope so though.
Let's hope so, yeah. How the fuck is that possible?
Anything is possible, man. As long as you believe in it. Oh shit! Don't see me, don't see me, don't see me.
Fuck, he's coming close?
Yeah, but they don't see me. They don't expect anyone to be on top of them.
Put the wingman on, put the wingman on.
You never expect anyone to be on top of you, right?
Oh my god, man. Land the fucking arcs now, no, don't do it.
I know, I'm attempting to do it! You know what's funny? I'm green, so he doesn't see me.
He's alone.
Nope, he's not. There they
Yeah,
are.
they're coming now.
She just fell down. Oh shit, here it goes. Hitting her. What the fuck did he put this back?
For the race. He has either gold backpack.
Golden backpack. Oh, here it goes. Oh, look, another zipline. They're rushing them.
No part of it.
I know, I'm chilling.
Oh my god, that's gonna be so fucking epic.
Oh, here, another one. There is another one.
Don't do that.
I know. I know. Oh my god, I'm in the center. Oh my fucking. Okay, guys, I think I should go to the water issue. Oh shit. No.
90.